Hello everyone, Books with Banks back again with another video, some more Malazan content. Malazan, the world of Malazan, co-created by Steven Erikson and Ian C. Esslemont, super well known for being massive and having these stories that span multiple continents. So I thought what might be fun is today to go through and rank all 7 of the major land masses or continents appearing in the world of Malaz, according to like a map like this that I'm putting up on the screen now. So we're not gonna necessarily be focusing on some of the realms, some of the warrens, some of the stuff that isn't exactly on this same plane, but with this plane here, we've got 7 or so continents. So I'll be going through and giving my thoughts on each of them pretty quickly. I won't spend too much time on any one entry because I don't want to really spoil anything today. The only spoilers I might say are things like, oh, such and such a book spends a lot of time on this continent. If you consider things like that a spoiler, I totally understand. And please come back and watch this video after you're maybe a little further into the series. But again, other than things like that, saying what books certain settings show up in, other than that, I won't be spoiling anything. So I will be talking about the following land masses: Quon Tali, 7 cities, Genabackis, Corel/Fist-Stratem, Jacaruku, Assail, and Lether. Before going much further, if you haven't already, it would mean a lot if you could please like and subscribe. Thank you, and here we go. So in 7th place, I'm putting Assail. I think of iciness, mountains, that sort of vibe when I think of Assail. While I really do enjoy the one book set here, obviously that one book is the 6th book in Esslemont's Novels of the Malazan Empire series, the book named Assail. Like I said, I really enjoyed this book. However, the setting doesn't necessarily blow me away. And as I just implied, there is only this one story set here. There might be a chapter or 2 from an earlier book, but I don't remember. But I'm not sure. But I would love for either author Erikson or Esslemont to return to Assail at some point. However, as of right now, I feel that Assail's mysteries have not been thoroughly explored when compared to how much time we've gotten to spend in the other settings. Assail is a great and serviceable place setting for the novel with the same name, but as of right now, there's nothing else too special about this place. Then in 6th place, I'm going to put Jacaruku. Now, there is one book, Blood and Bones, set almost entirely here, and I feel that Esslemont captured the jungle aesthetic perfectly. It's really a beautiful and terrifying place for these soldiers and other lost individuals and various storylines to be traveling through. This setting also has some really cool lore with the gods, lore with the High King, a prologue and Memories of Ice. So while I'd say there's a significant step up from Assail to Jacaruku as far as which location left the biggest impression, there are still 5 other continents that I feel are fleshed out a little bit more than our jungle continent here. And yeah, some of those other ones, some of the higher places up on the list have more specific locations described, and they're just the homes to more emotional and memorable Malazan stories. In 5th place, I'm going to put that Corel/Fist-Stratem continent. I love everything about the Stormwall here. I actually think Stonewielder, the 3rd novel in Novels of the Malazan Empire, this is the book that most thoroughly explores this setting. Stonewielder is at least my favorite of Esslemont's main 6 novels of the Malazan Empire, but it might be my favorite of all of Esslemont's books that he's written in this world. I've always been intrigued by the stories we hear told about the early Empire conquest and then subsequent struggle to hold on to the northern lands of this continent. I believe it was Admiral Nock and Greymane. I might be getting some of that mixed up, but I believe it was those two are prominent figures that were really involved in a lot of that early imperial stuff here. And so just, yeah, the legends and lore around all of the Empire, early Empire, that has me so intrigued with the setting, but I would love to return to this place at some point to explore these things even more, and maybe explore a few different specific cities. As of right now, though, this sits comfortably in 5th place. Then in 4th, I will put the heart of the Empire, Quon Tali. I'm of course including things like the Nepan Isles, Falar, and Malaz Isle here. A lot of books across the various Malazan series touch on this setting at some point or another, even if it's just for like a chapter or two. And we know a lot about the different cultures and peoples from Quon Tali, as they make up a large part of the diverse legions of the Malazan Empire's armies. The vast majority of Esslemont's prequels take place here. The climaxes to a couple of Erikson's books happen on Malaz Isle specifically. Heck, even the very beginning of the entire Malazan Book of the Fallen, beginning of Gardens of the Moon, that prologue is set on Malaz Island. And Quan Tali is where the Empire first got its start. Also, Esslemont writes some of the best battle scenes of the entire series on this continent and the surrounding isles. The most recent book, Forge of the High Mage, only further increases my enjoyment of this continent. But then in 3rd place, I think I'll put Genabackis. Most of Gardens of the Moon is set here, and then a couple more of Erikson's books in the main Malazan Book of the Fallen. Also, 1/4 of one of his books is set here as well. And one of Esslemont's novels is set on Genabackis. And the first book in the Witness trilogy, ongoing Witness trilogy, that's set here too. I believe most, if not all, of Balcolain and Corporal Broach novellas are also set here, so Genabackis is the setting for a significant chunk of the series. I would say my 2 favorite regions or specific areas of this continent are first the Teblor lands in the north, and then, of course, the city of Darujhistan, probably my favorite specific city in all of these books. But a lot of the rest of the countryside is more just kind of generic feeling to me. There's less extremes temperature-wise compared to other continents. I also find myself often wishing I were just in one of these 2 specific places, either up north with the Teblor or down south of that lake in Darujhistan. Whenever we're anywhere else in Genabackis, I wish I were in one of those 2 of my favorite spots. So for those reasons, it climbs as high as 3rd, but I still like 2 continents more. Then in 2nd place, I have 7 cities. I love desert settings. I also love how Erikson uses this subcontinent specifically to really force characters through the ringer. Everything about the Felicin Tavor storylines is really tied to this setting. Also the Chain of Dogs and its legacy, a big part of the setting here. There's so much history, and the ghosts and past of this region is oppressive and overwhelming at times, but all in the best way possible. This is a setting that operates like a character, and I think it's brilliant. Most of 3 books take place here, and they're all wonderful novels. On the strength of this setting, if anyone's struggling to get into Gardens of the Moon, try to get to book 2, Deadhouse Gates, because I think this setting can win many people over on its own. This is also a super important setting for the history of the Empire and for the origin of the Bone Hunters, but I won't say too much more about them. I'm trying to avoid spoilers. And then, if you've been keeping track, that means you must know what is 1st place, or what comes in 1st place, and that would be Lether. Lether is my favorite continent setting easily, and it's kind of strange to think how you have to wait 4 whole novels before its introduction, and even longer if you start incorporating the novellas, maybe 1 or 2 of Esslemont's books. But Lether, I think, is well worth the wait. The main setting of 4 novels in Erikson's Book of the Fallen, and it's an incredibly important place for the lore of the Elder Gods, and also for the lore behind the Elder Races. I just love this place. You have brilliant icy expanses, mountains, wastelands, and desert, and the only city to rival Darujistan as my favorite, Letherus, with its canals and the rising water level, the flooding, and how strange death and dying, how strange these concepts are in Letherus. Letherus alone is well worth the wait, in my opinion, but there's so much more outside of that city, on this whole continent, that just Erikson really spends a lot of time exploring, mostly in the back half of the main series. So again, you do have to kind of wait to get here. Even the coastal areas I find pretty interesting, and the stories that we hear about there, some with pirate characters, and especially some with some coastal areas with the Sheikh storyline. I've heard some people might be a little bit bored by the Sheikh, but I have always really enjoyed that story. And of course, we can't forget the setting of the Teist Eater peoples and how they're setting their forest, how their lands are very much a part of their culture. So yes, for all of these reasons and more, the Lether continent is easily my favorite setting is easily my favorite setting in the connected series that explore the Malazan world. And that should do it. Let me know down below which continents are your favorites. Were there any you were ever really excited to return to when you open the next book? Or any that maybe you opened the book and were like, oh no, we're back here again? Oh no. So yeah, just, let me know any of that down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.